Tell me about your body language. I'm really curious.
Probably really stiff.
No. No. Very negative in the legato. Right? You didn't like something about the preparation for the repeat.
Oh, I don't know. Like every time I came back to hear it, felt like I was really delayed.
You were or they were?
They were delayed.
Okay. So how do we undelay them?
Much better now.
Spanish. Go ahead.
Oh, well, you're probably used to an orchestra, and for winds, like we have to breathe and then we have to make noise. So I feel like it might come across that way to you, but it's not actually happening.
Maybe. Orchestras in general respond later to the ictus than winds. In general. And it makes sense. It takes a half a millisecond longer for the string to vibrate with a bow pressed on it than it does for Aaron to make a trumpet sound. The trumpet sounds rather instantly. One of the things the trumpet's very good at is making the front of a note. One of the things a string instrument is very, very good at is making a beautiful end of a note. But that's why they work wonderfully together, and symphony orchestra is such a beautiful thing. Well, we added horns, and we added timpani, and we added trumpets, and to make these extra elements of characters of sonority that were less likely to happen with strings. So what Caitlin is getting at is true. And every time I've been in front of an orchestra, or even wind groups, I've been in front of wind groups that have been led by mostly orchestral conductors in the past. Their ictus tends to be a little later than I'm usually comfortable with. But the answer is a little simpler than that too. How do we get them to move faster? Is by moving faster. Yeah, you're the engine. These guys are the cars behind. You want the train to go faster. Don't expect the cars behind the engine to push the engine to go faster. Be the engine. Be in front. Now, the thing I was getting at is that I thought your transition was lovely. I thought everything went well, but your body language made it very obvious that you didn't. And nearly every semester, you guys, this is a great opportunity, I tell the story of Dr. Brenton Alston. My dear friend, literally his name is Brenton Franklin Alston. I kidded about it on it. So Brent was a doctoral student in grad school with me. Brent is really one of the finest musicians I've ever been able to call a dear friend. When I went to graduate school, I've been teaching high school band. I was very band-centric. Didn't listen to anything except band music. I told you about how I used to just drive around and listen to the repertoire and try to play drop the needle with myself. I wanted to know the band repertoire, but I wasn't smart enough to get outside of the band repertoire to try to become the best musician I could. I was concentrating on being a great band director, but I wasn't thinking broader than that. And Brent's never thought like that. Brent's the kind of guy that showed me, would stick opera recordings on my desk as a grad student and asked me the next day what I thought about it, and then kick my butt if I didn't listen to it, and would show me about ballet and these wonderful things. And Brent, however, is a hyper musician in a million ways. Very, very talented. Got ears like a bat. He's also all of our insecurities times about 20. He's hyper musician. And what I'm getting up to is that Brent was, I'll never forget, he was conducting a second suite. The whole second suite was conducting a song without words in front of the symphonic band at the University of Miami. And part of his graduate work. And Brent was ultra critical of absolutely everything he did in his life. And Brent would conduct the holes, and his body language was pretty negative most of the time because he didn't think he was worthy to hold the stick and stand in the baton in front of those students. He was so critical of himself that he didn't look happy on the podium, and he would grimace a lot, and he would wince a lot. And then one day, one of the students in the symphonic band that I had gotten to know pretty well through the marching band and through all the other stuff that we did came to see me, and he said, listen, a lot of us want to know your type of Brent, and you need to tell him, okay, that if he hates us this much and we're this bad, maybe he just shouldn't conduct symphonic band. Right? You get it? I said, what are you talking about? He said, he absolutely loathes us. I guess we just sound that bad that he cringes and winces every second that he's in front of us. It's a true story. I said, oh my God, I'm so glad you mentioned this to me. He loves you, he hates himself, okay? I'll talk to him. He's wincing because he doesn't think he deserves to stand in the same room with you. I mean, but they were ready to mutiny. They thought he was this doctoral student, this great musician, and he hated how bad they were. So that lesson really never left me, that obviously, that moment. I had to grab Brent and talk to him, and you know, we avoided basically a real disaster because that one student came up and talked to me. So we have to remember that we're insecure, but you know, everybody else in the room is as well. And there's only one of us in this scenario that's actually putting sound out there to be criticized and judged, and it's not us. Right? It's these musicians that are sitting there that are putting themselves out and exposing themselves to be told they're sharp or flat or not together or not good enough. And we've all been there a million times, but sometimes it's easy to forget, you know, how sensitive we can be to that. Okay, so you have to be careful about how your body language might get perceived by somebody else. In this room, we know, but not in the room. Okay? Thank you.